Hey everybody! It is Saturday. I'm here with my partners in hosting, Silent H221 and Cerv. I'm their partner in hosting, Mr. Solutions. And gentlemen, this is
Comic Cinema Clash.
this is Comic Cinema Clash. I'm here, like I said, with my homies. How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
I love it. Cerv,
Dope.
like, excited about today's show?
Yeah, there's we talking old school comic movies.
That's right. We're talking old school comic movies. You sound a little low. Maybe you can turn up your volume a little bit.
Is that better?
A little bit. Maybe pull your mic. I don't know. Pull your mic closer. Turn up your volume a little bit. I don't know. You just sound low today. Does he sound low to you, Ace?
Yeah.
What about now?
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, Ace, how you doing today, man?
Oh man, besides a little bit of upset stomach today, I'm pretty good, brother. I'm very excited about this this conversation we're gonna have. It came on me on a whim, and I was like, you know what, this would be a great homage to all the comic films that are out now and everything that has transpired to the day of today.
You did damn right. And I do want to say, Ace, thank you for the show idea. Because we left last week and didn't even pick a show idea live on the air. And then Cerv was all like, yo, we need a show topic for next week. And then Ace came in all clutch. We're like, let's do old school comic movies, which honestly I love because we took such a deep divergence from, the theme of the show last week with science fiction and kind of with our favorite things the week before that, right?
Yeah.
So this really kind of brings us back to the center of the show, which is talking about comic books and their related IP and, adjacent media.
Yes.
So we're going to do a little bit of that today, but we're going to talk about like some old school comic movies, like 1990 and under style.
Oh yes, it's going to be very nice. I got the Wikipedia up, so we could definitely touch on some things on there as well. Because as you both know, there's a ton of shit on here. So
Right.
We got a lot to talk about.
But this how we're going to start it though. Ace, since this was your show topic, we're gonna do it real easy. Favorite old school comic book movie.
I think we already talked about that earlier prior to this, and I think we already know the answer for me. I'm gonna have to say for me is the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a classic to find. I love it. I like the depiction of the comic accuracy of it in a sense for the characters. It was just something as a kid that I was jumping off couches, kicking my sister and all that other stuff and trying to pretend to be a Ninja Turtle. So I would have to say I will always, for whatever reason, have to go back to that. That was just different for me as a kid. It hit I was a big ninja fan in general, like not just like Ninja Turtles. I love Kung Fu. That was like back in the 80s and 90s, that's what you did, right? Like kids was trying to be some form of martial arts and trying to kick off things. So ninjas in general was very awesome to me. And then I remember the cartoons, obviously, for Ninja Turtles. And when they brought it to a movie, I was like, it's so great, and I love it, and I wish these people were real, and I want to go in the sewer at this point.
Okay, so I want to say that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one, I love them. Like, who doesn't love the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies? I want to say they're more accurate to the cartoon than they were to the comic book.
Yes, true.
Comic book was incredibly dark.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, really mature. Completely different. It's a completely different IP than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. The movie and the cartoon though are very adjacent to one another.
That's true.
Right. It feels like they brought that 1990s the 1980s cartoon to life with the 1990s Turtles movie, right? Like you really
Sure.
got that feeling that the cartoon had sprang to life, and most of us were only familiar with the cartoon at the time, right?
Mm.
Matter of fact, I just watched a documentary on Teen Mutant Turtles and Eastman, and what's the other dude's name? I can't remember. But it's amazing that the property got optioned at all to be anything.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
even the comic was kind of niche. Like you didn't really hear too many people. I mean, there's still few people who have
It's a
actually read
Yeah, it's
the
a
original.
super indie comic. Like
Yeah.
it's still a really indie comic.
Oh
Like it's
God, yeah.
still a super like underground indie comic and low production runs, that type of stuff. And it's
Mm.
still very dark and deals with really very real themes.
Oh
Still,
yeah,
Oh
even
like
the modern ones, like
oh god,
God,
initially,
yes.
see, it's real.
The
yo,
newest one that was just released, the series, the last, God damn
Last
it.
Ronin. Yeah.
Thank you. That I was able to read that and want and finish it, and yeah, I definitely have to say prior to the even further back of the comics and how dark they actually were. Yes, everything was introduced to me as a child through the cartoon, obviously, and then when the movie came out, that's how I related the two. And as I got older, reading the comics, I'm like, what the fuck? This is way left what I would ever imagine to expect from the Ninja Turtles as I got older and started getting more into comics. Yeah, definitely. It definitely was honestly still one of my favorites, and it's always will be.
I serve favorite old school comic book movie.
Man, that's really hard to pick, and I don't think that I have a favorite off of the top of my head. If I had to pick one right now, it would probably be Conan the Barbarian.
Mm,
Um, that was just like comic book movies back then were just so full of like the spirit of pioneering creativity. Um, they made it so that like those movies aged so well because you can go back and like I can always go back and watch Conan the Barbarian and still feel the same wonder that I did the very first time.
One, I watch Conan every month.
Yeah, it's just such a good movie. They cast that movie damn perfect, right? And it's not one that I watch like a ton, but anytime it's on, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll check it out. Um, it was just good, man, and I really wasn't a fan. I as a kid I had known about Conan the Barbarian. I had known about the comics. You see him, he was definitely talked about. I gave him my chances reading. I may have been just way too young to be reading those. But that movie sucked me in as a kid, man. I didn't know what it was, but they did a
So
damn good job.
okay, so Conan is a little bit cheating. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Conan is based off a series of books, right?
Mm.
And even when you read the original Marvel runs of Conan, they always say Robert E. Howard's Conan,
right.
right? Um, and I love Conan the IP. Period. Like I've read most of the books. I read all the '70s comics, most of the '80s comics. I've watched all the Conan movies that have ever fucking come out. Like I love Conan the IP, but it's a little cheating because even the comics are based off books, right?
Correct.
But I wanted to put Conan on the list as my favorite, but I didn't because it's really my favorite movie based off a book,
I hear you.
right? Um, but my favorite my favorite comic book movie from 90 and under, real talk, the one that was most magical for me, the one that was most like the comic book had come to life for me when I was a kid, was Michael Keaton's first Batman movie.
No, but I know you're gonna say that.
Was that before the when did that come out?
It came
89.
out in like '89.
Okay, yeah. Um I absolutely adore that movie.
God, yes.
Like
God, yes.
that movie was like the first time somebody had really took a comic book IP seriously. Like Superman had came before that,
Yep.
right? And the first Superman movie was magical. Like nobody that watched it then was like this movie was crap, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
exactly.
was like the first Superman movie was fucking fire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The second Superman movie came out and everybody was like, I get it, but and honestly, for me, out of that second Superman movie, when you look at it retrospectively, is my favorite. It's the best out of that series of movies.
Yeah.
But what had really came before the Superman movies and fucking Batman, Mike Keaton's Batman, was a whole bunch of really bad '70s movies from people who had optioned Marvel IPs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was a really bad Fantastic Four movie, and it was like a really bad Incredible Hulk movie, and it was like a really bad Captain America movie, and like the really bad Hulk
Yeah.
movie had a really bad version of Thor in it. Like,
Oh,
it was
God,
just
yes.
all these horrible production value movies that were like either made for TV or like never really seen a public release. Like that was like the only real tangible comic book movies. And then Batman comes out. It's starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. It's directed by
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Yeah, why can't I get his name out of my face? I'm
Yeah.
about to be like the dude with the Edward Scissorhands movie.
I
Right.
got you.
It's directed by Tim Burton, right? And it's dark and it's gritty, and Batman's got this awesome Batmobile, like it's mind blowing, and he's got like all the gadgets, and it's like it came to life. And for me, like 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, that was like the best comic book movie from that time. Like it still might be one of the best comic book movies ever. It was really good.
Yeah.
So I sat my son down maybe like a year ago, and we watched that just so we could see, and that might be like the most ambitious comic book movie that was ever made for that time period. Actually, you know what? I would say it is, because the production value that they put into making Gotham City its own thing, you didn't see that in movies back then, right? Like it's been a known thing forever that Gotham is definitely its own character, right? And the way
Oh,
that
yeah.
you portray Gotham can make or break a Batman movie. And that movie made Gotham goofy. It made it dark and serious. It made it outlandish and vibrant and gray toned all at the same time.
Yeah.
Introducing the Jack Nicholson's Joker is still, what a lot of people consider, one of the best ones ever played, because it was so unique.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculously unique. Every kid loved that movie. Me growing up, there wasn't a single kid who didn't like that movie.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Have you ever danced
Yeah.
with the devil in the pale moonlight? Like, what are these lines? Where does he
Right.
get these wonderful toys? Like, what are these fucking lines, yo? Like, Jack Nicholson, yo. Like, seriously. But yo, that's my pick for the favorite. I totally respect that Conan pick. If it were not for the fact that it were based off a book first, I would have totally put Conan top of my list. Like you, I absolutely fell in love with Conan as a child. The first time I seen it, I was like, "What is this?" Like, me and you work on a comic together, and largely a lot of it is based off of Hyboria.
Oh yeah.
Which is the world that Robert E. Howard writes in. So that's where Red Sonja and Krull and Conan come from. A lot of it is based off of the works of Barsoom, which is largely the book series that's John Carter, Warlord of Mars, right?
Yeah.
I'm really a huge fan of those old Pulp Fiction adventure novels and that type of storytelling. Like, I'm a huge fan, and a lot of my fantasy work is centered around a lot of the concepts that you find in those two works. So, um, yeah, no, I totally am like right there with you with Conan. Just so you know, like my love of Conan is outrageous. Um, like Conan is yo, look. So you can get like all the books for free if you haven't read them. So you can get them all for free. If you don't read any Conan book, read Red Nails. Yo, Red Nails is so hard. Like
Mm.
Red Nails is such a good book, but you should read them all because they're all good.
Nice.
But worst comic book movie, Cerv, from that time.
Oh man.
I tell
Yeah,
you
when
what,
you
I'm gonna
that
give you for this one. We're gonna do 2,000 and under.
Okay. Mhm.
ugh,
That'll give you a
there's
little bit more
so
breath.
many to pick from, man. Like, ugh. Um, you know what? Clooney's Batman.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, that was a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're giving me 2000 and under, definitely Clooney's Batman. That
That
makes
was a dumpster fire.
um even as a kid, I was wondering. Like, look, I was the kid who dressed up as Batman every Halloween. Did not skip a single one. Right? After Halloween for months, those were the PJs until they ripped and tore. Drove my mom crazy. I absolutely loved Batman as a kid. I did not like that Clooney Batman movie.
No.
And all they had to do was produce marketing stuff for kids. You
It
know?
was really bad. It was
I didn't
really
like
bad.
it. It was so bad.
It was
Um,
so bad.
it seriously made me just not even want to watch the character anymore. Save the '90s cartoon, right? Um, yeah, if it's before 2000s, definitely that.
Okay, Ace, worst comic book
Oh,
movie.
so many different ones. I was just looking at the one that I just thought of. What's her face with Elektra.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that was pretty bad too.
It was just not what you expected from what the character was. It was so horrible. It was just an offbeat. Just the introduction of her, of the layout of her as a child, and just this whole the flashback scenes. It was just it didn't. I was excited because they finally made her into her own person, within the comics and other stuff like that. And when they actually portrayed the movie, it was like, all right, let's see what happens. And it failed me so bad. It was
No,
not.
it was so bad. It was
It
so
was
bad.
so horrible.
You know
Like
what though, Elektra. I've never liked Elektra. In the comics, in any media, like I don't think that she's done well almost ever. Like I enjoy reading her stuff that they're doing for her right now as the
mhm.
new Daredevil, but I have just never really liked her. She seems like a waste of a character.
I agree. And I agree with Elektra being a horrible movie. I agree with Clooney's Batman being a horrible movie.
Oh
My
yeah.
answer is in line with Ace's though, because for me, I thought Daredevil with
Ugh.
Ben Affleck was so bad. I hated everything about that movie, including the tint they chose to use on it to colorize it. Like
Yeah,
Mhm.
every part of that movie was horrible for me. Like I just hated it.
I just felt, yeah.
And I don't
It
know
felt.
why I watched Elektra. I don't know why I thought they was gonna do any better with Elektra than they did with Daredevil. And I hated Elektra as well.
Oh
look,
God.
Bullseye sucked. Um, he really ruined that movie for me.
Yes, yes.
You know what? I think they just tried to make it. It's like nobody read the source material,
No.
right?
Man.
It's like they were just like, "Hey, here's the characters in there. Here's what they look like. Have fun,
Yeah,
and go watch The Matrix like right before you shoot the movie."
pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now speaking of Daredevil though, and good renditions of Daredevil.
Oh God. Yeah.
What's his name? Cox. I can't
Charlie
think.
Cox.
Charlie
Oh,
Cox.
yes.
Marvel is bringing back Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the MCU.
I'm
Um,
ridiculously excited
yeah,
for that.
and and because Marvel likes continuity, anytime they want to use any of those characters, they're gonna want to bring back the original Netflix cast. Because Marvel likes continuity, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's actual decent, the same people that broke that news said that they heard that, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and maybe their cast may be coming back as well, but no Iron Fist.
Yeah, no Iron Fist as of yet.
Yeah.
But that might change, right? Depending on which way the wind blows. Now, what I think is interesting is that in that cast of Luke Cage is uh the dude that played Coppermouth in the first season.
Marshall Ali.
Yeah, Marshall Ali, right? He's
Yeah.
also playing Blade in
Yeah.
the MCU as Blade, right? So he's playing double duty as characters right now. So I'm sure we're just never going to see Coppermouth again as a character because he's moving on. The actor's moving on to play Blade in the MCU as well. So.
Oh well, he died.
Death is never fucking permanent in comics.
Oh, yeah, but like they ain't gonna bring.
Right. They can leave him dead. Is my point. Right.
Yeah.
They have no reason to bring him back on some craziness.
Yeah.
But death is never permanent in comics. Nobody actually dies in comics, especially not in Marvel. Ain't gonna lie.
Nope.
Like
They're in a fucking limbo, and that's it.
Like somehow they're gonna come. Marvel gonna bring them back. DC's good at that too, but Marvel definitely gonna bring them back.
Oh, Marvel abuses the crap out of it.
Look, yo, how many times they brought back Green Goblin?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You know what? It's not even him. I think Professor X has a record with like 18.
Right, like nobody stayed dead.
Yeah,
that's not real. Like that is like a story arc situation that you in. You'll be back by then.
Yep.
Look, villains come back all the time. I thought you were dead, and they have a whole villain backstory for how they wasn't dead and what actually happened and how they came back. So,
Yep. No one never dies.
But this Coppermouth will not be coming back, or Copperhead, or whatever his name is. He will not be coming back because the actor moved on to be Blade, which is awesome.
Which is going to be really good, and I'm excited for that one to see how they portray that.
Very excited for Blade. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about Blade real quick since we're talking about old school comic book movies?
Oh yes.
He paved the way.
Yep, they gotta pay them homage for sure.
Can we just say that Marvel Comics or Marvel Studios, as we know it, wouldn't exist if Marvel hadn't been like, all right, so we got this IP that nobody knows about and nobody wants, and we're gonna make a series of movies out of it, and we're gonna make Wesley Snipes the main character. He's gonna kill all three of these fucking movies.
Mm-hmm.
And never mind you, all three of the Blade movies are fire.
Oh
shit! Here we go.
You know what? I enjoy all three of them. I didn't like the design choices for the third one.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
criticism for those movies.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think that a lot of the costumes and design choices for almost everything in that movie they just didn't hit. But that didn't mean that the acting wasn't on point, the story wasn't on point. I enjoyed Ryan Reynolds as.
I was just about to say, can we segue to Ryan Reynolds real quick and how he's the hardest working man in comic book movies?
Yeah, because he was amazing in that movie.
He was fantastic.
He was in Blade 3. He was Green Lantern. He was Deadpool in the Wolverine movie. He was Deadpool in the Deadpool movies. Like, yo, my man is the hardest working person in comic book movies. He's like, yeah, I could be that.
Yep.
And he played those roles amazing. That's how I knew he was going to be amazing for Deadpool, though.
Yeah.
Is because of what happened in Blade.
Yeah.
I was like, that is Deadpool. He pretty much played Deadpool in Blade. Like,
he pretty much played Deadpool.
Obviously, Deadpool. He's been Deadpool in every rendition of Deadpool.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, Ryan Reynolds is actually Deadpool.
Oh,
Deadpool is look. Okay, so Deadpool has the which stone is it? The reality stone, right? He knows that he's a comic book. He knows that you are reading him. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Like,
oh yeah,
Ryan Reynolds has a reality stone. And he's actually Deadpool. And
you know why he plays that character too well? Like, one day there will be another Iron Man, and we'll forget about Robert Downey Jr. Um, people may not like it, but it'll happen one day.
Oh yeah.
The same with Hugh Jackman. They're gonna recast Wolverine, and we'll forget about Hugh Jackman playing
Oh,
this
he's
character.
coming back as Wolverine though.
Yeah, so we're not gonna forget about it.
Yes.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
hope that's not true.
It's
I
true.
kind of want to move on,
true.
man. I'm ready to move on.
Look, Marvel likes consistency, right? And now that they've embraced everyone as part of the MCU, right? Like every Marvel movie that's ever come out as canon, they like consistency, and they're trying to bring back every actor that has played whatever role, so they can have consistency.
I love Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I think he did a fantastic job playing him, but I'm all the way ready to move on from that.
Yeah. Well.
But Ryan Reynolds, I don't think anybody's going to be able to one up him on Deadpool, just because in real life he acts like him.
He's Wade Wilson.
Yeah, he is straight that character all the way. You read Deadpool comics and just look at Ryan. He was meant for that role. I don't think that they're going to be able to recast that properly.
I'm going to be real with you. He was honestly meant to play Hal Jordan. They just effed up the villain in the end.
Yeah.
And I'm let down because that was not, I think, as bad a movie as people think it was.
It wasn't. That's the problem, right? All the way up until the end, that movie was super good.
It was really good.
Right? And then at the end, they just dropped the ball, screwed the pooch completely.
Yeah.
Right? Ryan Reynolds killed the Green Lantern role.
Oh yeah.
He played a really good Hal Jordan, man.
Yeah, look, he's good as a comic book hero.
Yes. Yeah. He is fantastic.
He's fantastic as a comic book hero. Ryan Reynolds is kind of fantastic on screen, but whatever. So yeah, okay. I said my worst. Yeah, okay, we covered the worst. All right.
Yeah.
Comic book IP that you can't even believe exists on film. I'll start this one. Howard the Duck. I can't believe that Howard the Duck exists as a comic book. I can't believe that Howard the Duck exists as a movie IP. I don't know what movie executive was like, so Marvel, you have this wide catalog of comic book intellectual property to choose from, and what we want to get our hands on is Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
It was such a goofy movie, man. They put money into that.
Yes, like a lot of money.
A lot.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Howard the Duck movie. It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. Still don't understand what it's about. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Right?
Wow, have you really?
Yeah, that's it's kind of a funny, nostalgic movie, right? And it is okay. It's really, really overtly over sexual.
Oh God, yes. Oh my Lord, yes.
And it really adds to the appeal of Howard the Duck in a real naughty way. Like you wind up watching it because it's so overtly sexual, and then it's funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But still, why?
Yeah, nobody asked for that.
No, literally, no one asked for Howard the Duck as a comic. No one asked for Howard the Duck as a movie. No one asked Howard the Duck to keep popping up in the MCU.
So you
what is that about?
Right, you hit the nail on the head. Because you said though, it's like they put that in there for no apparent reason at all, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and go to a flashback a little bit here due to what you said. Y'all remember when he's getting sucked into time and he's going through the walls and he's blasting through everything, and then you see like all the people in the apartment building and all the women and I always remember it. And I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but I do. The one half-naked duck that he passes by and you see everything on him.
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes. Like what the?
I saw duck boobs. Like what is that?
I saw duck boobs. Like what? Like oh my God. Like why? Like What is Howard the Duck? And like, okay, I read the comics or some of the comics, because
Yeah.
they're not easy to get a hold of, and
No.
and they are just weird,
Totally weird.
right?
It baffles me how they even created it. I
Like,
thought it was a great
it even
idea.
popped up in What If?
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
That's another thing nobody asked for. Do we really need to see him and Marcy get married?
no,
We needed to see that, a Las Vegas marriage between Howard the Duck and Marcy.
He popped up twice in What If. He
yeah,
was in the T'Challa episode too.
Yeah.
Like continuity.
Like, who at Marvel is all in love with Howard the fucking Duck?
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. I appreciate it because we all know the comedic aspect of it, but why? The question is not what if, why?
Why? Why Howard the Duck?
Just because they can.
God, yeah.
Oh, all right. IP you can't believe they made into a movie if you can think of one.
Toxic Avenger.
Oh, that is a good one.
That is a movie?
Yeah.
You've never seen the Toxic Avenger movies?
What?
No. Oh, like a live action?
Toxic Avengers. All right, so Toxic Avengers had a movie and a cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the cartoons.
Yeah, Toxic Avengers had 2 movies.
Yep. And it was a very, very short-lived comic too, though. You know what I'm saying? Very short-lived. I think it had like a couple of series on there. That was about it. But yeah.
Were they good at least, or were they okay?
No, they were bad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They were fun.
Good. Yeah.
But they were bad. I got another one though. I bet you guys don't even remember this. Bucky O'Hare, the cartoon.
Oh yeah, I know that.
How did Bucky O'Hare ever become an anything?
Right. Oh man, no, yeah, that didn't make no sense.
You know what? I feel like goofy things like that, where like when you saw so many people pioneering so many great ideas, you just have people saying, "Hey, just pick up anything and try to be creative with it, right? Let's just pick up whatever obscure thing that we possibly can."
Right.
Well, see, Bucky O'Hare was a long-running comic.
It was. It really was.
Like, and then it got opted into a television show. But like, Bucky O'Hare is about a green spacefaring rabbit that I literally I used to have Bucky O'Hare comics too. I literally don't know what it was about.
Yeah.
Like,
I
read the comics, I watched the show, and I have no idea what Bucky O'Hare is actually about. He is just literally saying stupid things, panel after panel, and he's in stupid situations, and it seems to be about complete nonsense.
Just chaos.
Yeah, absolute chaos.
Just
random
chaos.
things happening on the page, random things happening on the cartoon. Like,
that might have been kind of what they were going for. Just people who enjoy random ass goofy things.
That is not your boy, right? Like, and, Bucky O'Hare I don't know why I invested so much in Bucky O'Hare. Like, sometimes when you're a kid, you wait. I guess you're just waiting for the shoe to drop or whatever, right? You're like, but it just remained nonsensical the entire fucking time.
Yeah, it had no logic in
none, zero,
any sense, and it was just the most ridiculous.
Invader Zim was more put together than
oh God, yeah, exactly. That's what's crazy. Yeah, it made more sense. So we knew what his accomplishment and goal was to be. Yeah, did totally.
They love making cartoons like that, like every decade or so, though. Just animation happening on the screen with no purpose. I've never enjoyed it, but it has an audience apparently.
Oh man,
they do.
Bucky, Captain Bucky O'Hare, Captain Bucky. Oh yeah. All right, so
man, I don't know if I have a IP I can't believe they made this into an IP. But while it may not be comic related, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was always just wow. Who, even as a kid watching that, I was always just like, what adults decided to make this into a thing? Like, how
What
did this,
drugs were they doing to
like,
make Who
who,
Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
would have loved to have been in the room where they pitched this to somebody.
Yeah.
And somebody said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I agree like that.
Yeah,
There's
check
a whole
this
bunch
out.
of things I'd be like in life. I'm like, who sat there and was like, I'm going to spend money on this?
Yep. What is the other movie that
But
reminded me of
amazingly,
that?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit works. Like, that
Yeah.
movie so works. It's such a good movie, right?
It
Yeah,
is.
and I don't mean not to say it's a bad movie. It's just the whole concept of it for the time period that it came out is just such a like big slap in the face of, hey, here's something different,
Right,
like
like,
really fucking
no,
different.
absolutely. Like, somebody really was bold enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to invest my money into this. I think it's a hit. And it absolutely was. Like, whoever that
It was.
person was a genius, right?
Oh yeah.
But I would have loved to have been in the boardroom when they were pitching Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
They literally just
We're
dropping
gonna have
strips.
cartoons on screen and live action. The
Like,
fuck did you?
right. What did you say? Like, one, we ain't Disney.
Yup. And that was the whole just the it was a lot of like jabs in that movie toward like the Warner Brothers and
Disney, both studios,
Disney,
really.
both studios, yeah, Donald Ducks and all that stuff. But it worked and it was well done. And then I remember, since just to sort of add on to that, sort of like, what was during, because it came out pretty much like Roger Rabbit was the first iteration of the cartoon / like live action thing, right? When they put it in theaters. What was the other movie?
Cool
It was
World.
Brad Pitt. Thank you. So that was like, that sort of goes into that alignment.
I was just about to bring that up. Cool World is
Yeah.
another one of those movies where it's based off a comic.
Yep.
That actually is based off a comic.
It is based off a comic, yes.
Cool World
Yep.
is actually based off a comic.
Yep.
And Cool World's another one of those. I would have loved to have been in the room where somebody was like, yo, so got this movie I want to do called Cool World, right? Guy gonna fall into this animation world. Gonna be
Yep.
like a fucked up acid trip.
Yep.
Fall in love with an animated chick.
Yep.
And yeah, drama ensues. And somebody
Yep.
was like, yep. Cool
And you know
World.
what? Like, way to just fuck up puberty for every single boy growing up with in the 90s with
Right.
movies like that and Jessica Rabbit. Like, y'all
Yes.
just wanted to jumpstart fucking puberty for a bunch of like 8-year-olds.
Yes.
Good
Right.
job.
Yep.
And honestly, Cool World's an excellent movie. That's another
It-
one.
That's a good one.
Works. Cool World is such a good movie.
They had
Like-
good actors, everything.
Like, it's really good. Like, it's
Mhm.
go back and watch it right now. It holds up so well.
You know,
yeah.
probably paved the way for Space Jam in ways that I never realized before.
Absolutely did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both those movies did.
Probably would have been looked at as crazy if those movies didn't do.
But honestly, Mary Poppins and Bed Knobs and Broomsticks and movies like that paved the way for all of those movies, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
because there's been a couple of times where they've done it before. Like, those definitely aren't original. They just took it to a different level.
They did. They
Yeah.
really, the animation was really slick. It was real 90-ish. It was starting to be the first things that was, kind of processed on computers,
Yeah.
and made in a different way. Like Jessica Rabbit's dress was
That was
like,
badass.
the sequence on it that actually shimmered and shined like it was real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was fucking mind blowing. Like,
No, that was the cool thing about it is, when dude got splashed in the face with water, from a cartoon character, he actually got splashed in the face with water. Like, they were really interacting.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it was. Yeah, both those movies are so good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Oh, you know what's another good movie like that though?
Hmm.
Not based off a comic, but is another movie in that vein. Osmosis Jones.
Yes.
Oh man, my wife has no idea that existed, and I love that movie.
Oh, I just watched it like maybe a month ago, and I don't think I laughed so hard rewatching as I did rewatching Osmosis Jones. Like the movie was so damn funny and it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was talking to her about it, I was telling her, I need to sit down my son and watch that. I bet he'd enjoy that a lot. Everybody forgot that whole movie exists, man, but that movie was so good.
Osmosis Jones is, and like the cast is amazing. It's got Bill Murray, it's got Chris Rock, it's got Phil Hartman. Like the cast is amazing.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's like so good. And it's so funny and it's so heartfelt. And Osmosis Jones is that's a winner.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like that's a winner. Osmosis Jones is a winner.
still can't get over that pimple scene. Like at the
Oh
very.
God, it's so
Yep.
gross. Everything Bill Murray did in that movie was so gross. He was so gross.
Oh, just disgusting.
It
Yeah.
was just so disgusting. Oh
It was
my
great.
god. All right, so we did best, we did worst, we did movie IPs that we're like, I can't even believe that got made. Um, let's see. Okay, I like this one. One that felt most like the comic book to you, though. After I got my answer for this. I know I said Mike Keaton's Batman felt that way to me when I was a child,
Yeah.
but after retrospect, I have a much better answer for this.
Hmm.
Are we still keeping this before the 90s?
We're trying to keep it like 90-ish. If you got to get into the 2000s down, go ahead.
Yeah, because if I had to give one, I would say Spawn. Like Spawn just felt very one for one. Like they were really exploring the spirit of that comic visually, at least.
Yeah.
With what they had at the time, right? Like the CG was horrible for that
So
movie
I
back
was
then.
just watching Spawn a couple of weeks ago, actually, because it's on either Netflix or HBO Max, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have
So
to check that out
I
again.
was just watching Spawn a couple of weeks ago. I I feel what you're saying about the spirit of the comic. I don't feel like the movie holds up very well, to
No.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
As far as like movies go, but definitely it feels panel for panel, scene for scene, a lot like the Spawn comic did. At least the first
Yeah.
like 10, 15 issues of Spawn, right?
Yeah.
Well, and just visually, the way that they designed like just every character, even to like the little demons, they really you could tell they had to have had like a comic book
Well,
open.
Todd McFarlane had a huge hand in the production of the Spawn movie. Like he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
integral in the design and all of that. So it definitely visually felt like Spawn.
Mm.
And yeah, I can absolutely agree with you. For visual look, Spawn would definitely win probably this category. I do have a
It's
different answer, huh?
really hard for me to not just agree on like Val Kilmer's Batman movie as well because that looked right like the comics that they were making at the time too. But Spawn's my final.
I got you.
Oh,
Ace,
okay.
what's yours?
Batman Returns.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, okay. Get
Batman
behind that answer.
Returns. It definitely is definitely, as we stated before, it to do Gotham has to be his own character, right? And they stuck true to that from the first Batman, right? They literally stuck to that. Everything about it was just beyond the point of like, well, I mean, it would make sense for the big penguins, right? For the penguin, right?
Yeah.
And it would make sense to put then obviously that would be in the comic, right? Like that would make sense. So Catwoman's character in there was Michelle Pfeiffer. My opinion, can't or won't be until they figure out how to do it. Another Catwoman. I mean, she did really good. It was fantastic. It was just something where it was like the emotional aspect, the giddy, goofy, comic punch, the whole everything, right? So I think I would say that was it for me. It would be Batman Returns for sure.
Yeah, fantastic answer.
All right, so for me, um, honestly, 1989 Punisher, probably easiest one to pull off.
Mm.
In the look, feel, storytelling. The story's
Yep.
pretty easy. The look of Punisher's pretty easy. It's
Mhm.
it's really on the ground stuff. There's nothing that you really got to do with the Punisher
No,
to
yeah,
make it look and feel like the Punisher, right?
yes,
You don't gotta add a lot of CG or special effects or anything like that. You just gotta put a dude in a tight black shirt with a skull on it and some weapons and point it
yeah,
at bad guys. But
yes,
I feel like 89 Punisher did an excellent job at doing just that.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, definitely agreed. Dolph Lundgren,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
played him, and he did And I think at that time frame in the 80s, like that Dolph Lundgren was the man and for those type of movies in general. And he was, the character was simple. Like you said, you can't go wrong because he didn't have no superpowers. He didn't have to do all that. He was a mercenary type person, military. It just made sense. So yeah, I would have to definitely agree with your answer.
It always surprises me how few people have seen that movie. Even from the people that grew up, back then and would have definitely been there for that movie.
Yeah.
Because it was probably the best Marvel movie for that time period.
I agree.
All of them.
I
It was
agree.
really
I'm also a
good.
huge fan of the newer Punisher movie as well.
Well,
It's not. You're talking about the
the Marvel
2001?
Netflix.
Nah, 2001 Punisher movie
Yeah.
with John
Um,
Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It
Nah, that
wasn't
movie
bad.
was good. That story was
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, it was not bad.
No,
Yeah.
no, I watch that kind of all the time too. That's another one of the movies. I'd be like, I'm bored. I'm gonna put on something. I'm gonna put on this Punisher right here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what we wanted Daredevil to be. Was
Yes.
what that was.
Yes. Absolutely. Like Daredevil was so bad. Fuck.
Didn't anybody else feel like Ben Affleck was pushing on the vocals for the Batman, and the Daredevil?
He is a bad comic book hero.
Totally.
Stop.
Right.
It's sad.
He keeps ruining roles. He needs to stop that.
But I remember there was like one interview they did with him and Henry Cavill after Batman vs Superman, and they were talking about how if Ben Affleck was worried that this movie wouldn't do so well like Daredevil did, and you could just see his like soul just drop in his chest, like I can't go through this again, man.
No,
Right.
I remember that. I remember that interview.
Like, he's not good at being a superhero. Right?
Yeah, George Clooney told him to not play that role, to not do Batman. He called
should.
him and asked George Clooney for advice, and he said, "Don't do it." He's like, "If you want to be banned from Comic Con, don't do it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
he shouldn't. He shouldn't. How was he already not banned from Comic Con for Daredevil though?
Yeah, like
Yeah, he should be. Yeah,
Hey, he should be.
definitely not good. Not
No.
good for the genre at all.
No, it's so bad. So
Because
bad.
so many people think he's like, oh, he's a great Bruce Wayne. He's none. I pick D. All the above. He is not, and he is not a good character for any. I don't know if they could even create a character for him. I just don't.
Now
I don't-
you know who else is good in comic book movies though?
Hmm.
Michael Keaton.
Damn right, buddy.
Oh, are you getting him as the Vulture is amazing.
Man, yo, he killed the Vulture. He killed Batman. Fuck with
Fantastic.
Michael Keaton.
Dude, that man is a legend god when it comes to these.
Oh, Chris Evans too.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't ruin Fantastic Four, nor was Johnny Storm bad.
No, he played Johnny Storm pretty well, actually.
Right, and
I
he
think
also killed Captain America.
I think he really brought Johnny Storm to life almost perfectly. Like, this is why I didn't want a black Johnny Storm, because Johnny Storm was like the whitest character in Marvel Comics.
Right. He's like the most surfer dude ever that lives in New York, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
There was another movie that Chris Evans plays in. And it was a comic book movie. I can't remember the name of it. But it's God, hold on, I'm gonna look for it because I know what it's called.
Scott
And
Pilgrim? Is that what you're thinking of?
what?
which one? No. Not Scott. Yeah, that's a good no, but it's another movie. When him, oh my lord, y'all keep seeing. I'm gonna look for it. I gotta look for
Hold
it
up,
because
IMDb right now. I'm pulling up Chris
Well,
Evans.
either
Right.
way, he was fantastic.
because they had him as Snowpiercer, but that's not the movie I'm thinking of.
Oh, Snowpiercer was fantastic, though.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But
I still
there's
have not watched
Losers. There we go.
Oh, The Losers. Yes, that was
Another-
a good movie.
Yeah, he played a great character. He was cocky, and he had this every aspect of his. He plays in the roles very well. That's for sure. He plays into the roles extremely well with no matter what character. Captain America, like I don't know if there could be another Captain America, right? Because the Captain America, in generally speaking, is not. It's a symbol, right? It's not the person. It's a symbol. So anybody could play the Captain America, but like to play the original Captain America, I don't think nobody could
He
really
played
take.
Steve Rogers. He played the shit out of Steve Rogers.
So
Okay,
good.
so the losers. That's a good segue into what I was thinking we should do next week.
Yes.
Okay, so next week I was thinking we should do like independent comic movies, like
Oh God, yes.
Bloodshot
Yes.
and
Oh, okay.
and in the losers and
Yes.
40 Days of Night.
Yes.
Right, The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Like, we got a lot of latitude with like some really kick-ass, right? And Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
And like there's a whole
idea.
bunch of movies we could really be talking about that are based off comic books that a lot of people don't know are based off comic books because
And there's still some coming up because I think even Spawn is getting a new movie. That they're kind of in production for. So there's still some of those being produced right now.
Yeah. No, like look, Bloodshot just came out a couple years ago, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Was it good? Did any of you?
Okay, I don't want to say it was good. I also want to say I didn't hate it.
Yeah. You were intrigued to watch it for sure. You know what I mean? Because
I want to say I didn't hate it. That's what I want to say about Bloodshot. It wasn't like some great fantastic movie or something. Plot was pretty wide open.
Yep.
Did I enjoy the action and the CG? Absolutely.
Oh God, yes. The film, everything was so good about it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Well, and then I think all this goes around the lines of like the independent films and stuff like that. Like I watch Bat in the Sun, right? And they do all those versus type style, and they actually made their version of the variant with Bloodshot in it and stuff like that. So that's another one it's spot on for the comic. I think Jason David Frank whatever he plays Bloodshot.
Oh, okay. That might be worth watching.
Yeah, because that one was more comic accurate with the look, the characters.
Does Valiant Comics still make comics?
They do.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't actually seen any ads or anything on a comic shelf, or even like I guess I don't really be on Comixology like that. I guess that's probably where they sell their titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But Valiant Comics.
Actually, I think that they had. I thought that they had a couple of like really obscure IPs that was contracted to them. But yeah, they're still around. Same with like Dark Horse and Dynamite.
Yeah, I know Dark Horse is around. I get stuff from my feed off Dark Horse all the time on my Twitter. But I have Valiant on my Twitter. I don't ever see nothing from them.
Yeah, I could have sworn they were still making stuff.
Yeah, I thought they were just coming up with a new. I thought they were just coming up with a new comic for Bloodshot.
So you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say this out loud on the internet, so hopefully somebody will catch this. But M Valiant is one of the best movie lines that they could make. So in the 90s, Valiant had released a book at the back end of all the books they had running called Harbinger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Harbinger was a tie-in to their universe, which was just this beautiful time travel story, right, for the universe. And if anyone in Hollywood were to take the content of that tie-in story for the Valiant universe and make, an Exo-Mano War movie, a Harbinger movie, a Turok movie, and the Bloodshot movie, because like all of them were tied in, like everybody's universe was tied in here.
Oh yeah,
it would be such a killer comic book movie IP if they would do that.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that beyond the point of what just the Bloodshot movie, they haven't looked into that. You know what I mean? Because there's so many good characters.
Like, why hasn't there been a Turok movie?
Turok would make a fantastic movie, and I bet you it's because Bloodshot wasn't received well. I feel like that's probably why that happened.
On the heels of Iron Man, how come there hasn't been an Exo Man or movie?
War, yes.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, there's so many good characters in there, and their storylines are all good, and it just everything that comes with it is just great, and it's so surprising that they don't have or even like tapped into this yet. Which hopefully, if they're hearing on the internet, please do.
And I get why Dark Horse is not as competitive, right? I never really felt like Dark Horse really had the IPs to compete with.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, there's certain titles that come out of Dark Horse that are like, I get it, those are really good or whatever.
Right.
But I don't feel like most Dark Horse stuff I want to see be made into a movie. And maybe that's because I don't really like the genre that they really live in, which is mostly dark and horror. Right.
Right.
And that could influence my opinion on that. So I'll say that out loud. I'm sure there's some Dark Horse fans out there like, what are you talking about? Dark Horse is some of the best stuff ever.
Is Prime part of Dark Horse or no? Or is that Image?
That's Image. Prime is Image.
And you know what?
Technically, Prime is Malibu.
Oh, yep.
Definitely.
Technically, Prime is Malibu Comics. Prime was great.
Image is who's doing this the right way, though, right? Like, they've been actually handling their IPs so well over the last couple of years. And they're doing it their own way. They're not trying to be Marvel. They're not trying to be DC. They're very, very unique in what they're doing with all of their IPs and media right now, and I'm here for the ride.
Yeah,
there's so much within that. I agree.
It's just slow going with Image right now. With that, like you're not really seeing too much come out of Image's camp, and that's because of the issue that it's always faced is that they're creator owned, and each creator owns the IP that they make, right? Yep. So there's no overhead control of how the IP is going to be released or put out. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes up to Jim Lee and his properties over at Image to put out whatever movies he's going to do for Wildcats or whatever. Becomes Scott. What is his name? He does Danger Girl. What is that dude's name?
Oh man. Oh, that's gonna bother me until I look it up.
It's Scott something.
Oh yeah.
But it's each owner's deal to work out their movie. It's not Image the company's deal to do that. So it makes it much harder for them to be like, as a collective, this is what we're gonna option to Hollywood. These are the movies we're gonna put out. Boom, 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 boom. Jim Lee's Image
do that without any argument from anybody is Monstrous. I know it's still ongoing, but if they just did the first 10 books of that as like an anime or movie or something, everybody would buy tickets to that.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and Scott Campbell is his name.
Scott Campbell. And that's the problem kind of with Image though. Like Jim Lee's Image universe is largely different than Scott Campbell's Image universe, even though they exist in the same place.
Yep.
Right? They don't really interact with one another. No. They don't, Oh, you know what I would love to see as like a movie? Savage Dragon.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wondering why that isn't one.
Shit, right?
Eric Larson's Savage Dragon. I would love to see that shit as a movie.
Yeah. They could do that as like a Invincible style TV series, and I'd be all for that too.
So there is a Savage Dragon cartoon.
Yeah, I grew up on it.
It is pretty bad.
About like a modern one though,
right? Yeah, the Savage Dragon cartoon was pretty bad. I did not know it existed until recently. I started watching it on not Freeform, but this one of them weird stations got it. Right.
Oh, I know. The Peacock or whatever.
Peacock, yeah, Peacock's got it. Yes.
Yep.
You're talking about the '90s cartoon. Right?
Yeah.
So honestly, Peacock's like a wealth of '90s cartoons. They got like Exo Squad, they got like Savage Dragon, Wildcats. Like you can watch like all that stuff over at Peacock, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, I'm gonna watch Savage Dragon because I love the comic. Like Savage Dragon comic is superb.
Great.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's an IP that needs to come back. Definitely.
Right. But that cartoon was bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No,
especially when, like, as a kid, they're giving you the option to watch that or like Batman the animated series. No, I'm
Or
not gonna watch
X-Men,
it. Or
X-Men,
X-Men or
or
Spider-Man.
or
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
Yeah, like
or
Way better
even the
option.
I Am Iron Man cartoon from back then, which was actually pretty good.
it was pretty awesome.
It wasn't as bad as I think people give it credit for. It
No,
was. It was.
I tell you
It
what
was
was the worst cartoon from that time period from Marvel. Silver Surfer.
Oh
Oh,
God,
no,
yeah.
yeah, Silver Surfer sucked.
Silver Surfer was so bad.
Nuts.
Now, real quick, just because I'm talking about cartoon series, and we're out of time, but you know, it's our show. We do what we want.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, one of the best cartoon series that ever came out was
Hmm.
so underrated. Green Lantern on Cartoon Network.
Oh, are you
Dude,
kidding?
yeah,
Yeah,
man, yes. Oh,
phenomenal series.
Phenomenal. So
Yep.
good.
Why does DC love Green Lantern, dude? Like, why can't they just like do something with it?
I don't know.
Do it correctly, please.
Look,
That's it.
Green Lantern
Like,
on Cartoon Network was so damn good.
oh yeah.
Like that was better than Young Justice. That was better
Mm-hmm.
than Justice League. Look,
Mm-hmm.
Green Lantern, and I love Young Justice. Yo,
Yeah, and
Green
Young
Lantern
Justice.
was the animation was slick. The stories were deep and compelling. Like
Yep.
Yes, fantastic.
they were look, Green Lantern was fantastic. But anyway, so next
Yep.
week we're gonna do independent comic book movie IPs, right? We kind of touched on some of them, but we're gonna talk about our faves and our least favorites, and the normal stuff that we do on the show.
Yeah.
Give our opinions about them. So y'all get ready to come and talk about yours. I mean, we kind of talked about some of the day, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Obviously, that's the Eastman and Kodak,
Yeah.
property.
Yep.
We talked about Bloodsport a
That's
little
a
bit.
few. Yeah,
You know.
there's a decent amount of them out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And we'll add shows in there so we can touch back on things like Invincible, which should be getting a season 2 here real soon.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
it's about time, right?
Yeah, I probably got like another, 4
You know
or
what?
5
I think
months.
the boys should be coming pretty soon
Oh, The
too.
Boys should be coming out real soon. And we touched a little bit on The Boys last week too.
Yeah.
But The Boys is going full throttle this season. So if you haven't watched The Boys, do get caught up on The Boys. Really, wow.
Especially-
Hunters is actually another comic book based show that is on Prime. If you
Yep.
haven't watched Hunters, watch Hunters.
Mhm.
Actually, a really good show. Have you guys watched Hunters?
I have.
No, what is
I heard of
that?
it. Not
Hunters
watched it.
is about it takes place in the 1970s in America. It's about a group of POCs, mostly Jews and black folks, that are hunting Nazis that have been transplanted here in the States.
That sounds cool as shit.
It is so good. It's so funny. It's so good. It's full of lots of little real history tidbits.
Nice.
And yeah, no, watch Hunters on Prime. That show is okay. Prime's got a lot of good shows.
Oh yeah.
If you're not watching like Amazon Prime originals, you're kind of slipping. Like they got a lot of good shows. You should like Upload will blow your mind. Upload is so good. Upload
Nice.
is so good. Let me tell you what Upload's about. So in Upload, they live in a world where when you die, your consciousness can be uploaded to a digital landscape. Okay.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
If you have enough money, it's pretty much like heaven. If you run out of money in heaven, it's pretty much like hell.
Mhm.
And Upload is phenomenal. It is so good. I cannot wait for season 2 of Upload. It is so good.
Nice.
Future Man is another great freaking show. Like Future Man is hilarious, and it's a time travel adventure. It's great. Like so funny. The Tick was the Tick. The Tick. We can talk about the Tick next week.
Yeah, that's a IP I always forget exists every couple of years.
Okay,
Yeah.
look. It did not make it past season 2. So I'm a little hard pressed to tell anyone to watch it. But honestly, The Tick on Amazon Prime was great. Like it was truly, truly inspired. Like,
Mhm.
if you haven't watched The Tick yet, take the 16 hours out of your life and watch The Tick. It is so damn good.
Oh yeah. I remember they had the 90s ones, right? From back in the day too.
Yeah, they got the 90s ones on there too. Those are also on Hulu right now, so you can watch those pretty much wherever you like. But I am definitely suggesting giving The Tick on Amazon Prime a go. It is funny, it is endearing.
Mhm.
It's just fucking really good.
Mm.
Like the danger boat, and you just won't know what I'm talking about until you watch The Tick.
You watch it, yeah.
Freaking danger boat. But it has been another Saturday. We have been chilling here. I've been here with my good buddies and my partners in hosting, Ace 221 and Cerv. I'm Mr. Solutions. And this has been Common Cinema Class, y'all. Hope you enjoy the show.
Ladies.
Peace.
Peace, guys. The danger.